Hello, everybody!
Hello.
Howdy, howdy! What?
There we are.
We are.
On Facebook.
What do you know?
On YouTube now too.
Hello, everyone. I am Tara, the author of the Dining on a Dime cookbook, along with my mom, Jill. Today we are making Sinful double chocolate cake right there on page 287 of our new Volume 1, 25% off right now.
Sinful.
This is a really good chocolate cake because if you have no eggs and no oil, you can make this cake. So, if you run out of eggs and want something sweet, this is it. All right. Oops. I forgot the flour. Well.
Hello, everyone.
Let me grab the flour.
Welcome on this sunny but frigid
Cold.
day.
It's cold.
It's cold.
Okay. So, I'm going to take and put my 2 cups of flour in here. All right, right there. Now, here's a tip, guys. Most people don't know this, but you do not have to sift your flour. I see a lot of cooking videos and they sift the flour. You can just take a whisk and just get all those lumps out just with a whisk. You don't need to waste time sifting a flour, okay? All right, then we're gonna get our baking soda in and our baking powder in. Now, baking powder is one thing that you do not want to use by the expiration, after the expiration date. So right here is the expiration date on the bottom of the can. You could probably go a couple of months, but if your baking powder is expired more than a couple of months, you want to get fresh because it won't work. And if you're having problems with your baking, that could be why. Sugar and cocoa powder. Now for cocoa, guys, you always want to make sure that it's packed. All recipes, unless it says otherwise, call for packed cocoa powder, okay? And then we're gonna whisk all our dry ingredients together first. This just gets out all the lumps, evenly distributes all of the baking powder, baking soda, all of that in there. It gets it evenly distributed, okay? So you want it to look really nice, just like that. All right, then we're gonna put in our water and our vanilla, which Dave just moved, but that's okay. Sorry,
No,
Dave, it wasn't in the way. Now this is my homemade vanilla. Guys, you can just use the cheapy Walmart stuff for 89 cents. It is no big deal. You don't need fancy schmancy vanilla. I just happen to have that for recipe testing. Then the secret ingredient is mayonnaise.
What?
The best condiment in the whole wide world, and I said that just for our viewer, Jonathan.
Wait, what? Mayonnaise in a chocolate?
Oh, been doing a grandma's on.
So,
What?
mayonnaise. Yes, mayonnaise in a chocolate cake, Dave.
Does it contrast with the chocolate?
It does not. Mayonnaise is made out of milk and eggs. So if you don't have milk and eggs, you can use mayonnaise instead.
Gotcha.
And actually, I should do a recipe test because I want to test this with homemade or with a cake mix. I don't see why it wouldn't work for a cake mix. It should. And I'm going to do that as a recipe test and just leave out the eggs and the oil and see if mayonnaise would work. Okay, so then you're going to get this all mixed together so it's nice and smooth. Probably should have used a mixer and made it easy on myself, but I wanted to show you guys. Push your batter against the side of the bowl so that if you have any lumps, that takes the lumps out, okay? So if you don't have a mixer, that is how you can get the lumps out of your bowls, or I mean out of your bowl, out of your batter. You guys know what I mean. All right, I think we got, whoops, nope, there's one more little, just scrape down to the bottom and make sure you got it all. Okay, next, You're going to take your pan, you're going to spray it with your cooking spray, or if you have a wrapper from margarine or butter, you could save that and use that to grease your pan. Just save them in a Ziploc bag and when you need them. Okay.
Are we saving questions about the recipe?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, then get it all poured in here. Oops, I missed another little thing there.
You can start.
Okay. Won't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. All right, now smooth it into your pan, just like so. I'll take questions as soon as I'm done making the recipe, guys. Just like so. Yum-a-rummo. Oops. Okay. Then you're going to put this in the oven to bake. I forgot to turn on my oven. Put this in the oven to bake at 350 degrees. The recipe is in the description below. Now, to test if your cake is done, you can take a toothpick or a knife, but just stick it in the center here. And if it comes out clean, see how there's no batter on there? If it comes out clean, then you know your cake is done, all right? And that is how you test pretty much every baked good like cakes, muffins, quick breads like banana bread, zucchini bread, pound cake, all of those. That's how you do that, okay? So now we're gonna take, and Dave, come up this way, and we're gonna make our frosting. Now, you're gonna put in here a half a cup of margarine or butter. I'm using butter today because that's what I happen to have. And then you're going to add milk, sugar, and cocoa powder, okay? So I'm just getting my butter melted here first. Just get it going, and then we'll add all those in, and then we're going to bring it to a boil, and we're going to pour it over our cake, okay? All right, give me some questions, dear, while we're working on our frosting.
Well, oops, where were the questions? Nancy wanted to know, what is the significance of packed?
So you get more cocoa powder when you pack it in there than you do if you just loosely, like it, you know, like with flour, you're supposed to dip in, take a knife, scrape off the top, and let it be in your cup loose. But with cocoa powder, you want it packed, and that is a different measurement than, so let me show you. So here, we'll show you right now real quick. Okay, so here, can they see over here, Dave?
The pan is in the way.
Huh?
The pan is in the way.
Okay. Let's see. Oops. Just a second. Okay. So, let me show you. Here is a 1/4 cup of loose, cocoa, okay? So, it's just loosely in there. So I have 0.9 ounces, 8 ounces. But if I pack it, so if I go like this and I pack it in, like so, then what's the matter?
Just when I talk about your channel to my husband, I say that lady that yells at me told me about Dot, dot, dot. She said, let's say with love, of course. You guys are the best.
Okay, so when it's packed, it's 9 and almost 10 ounces instead. So that's why you want it packed, because it's more cocoa powder and your recipe will taste off if you don't put it all in. Okay, we got our butter melted, and now we're adding our milk and our sugar. Oh, and our cocoa powder that we need. I needed, how much cocoa powder? Okay, 1/4 cup. Now, here's what I do. If I don't feel like packing it, I'll just do a heaping.
Oh.
I'll just do a heaping thing of cocoa powder. So don't stress yourself out over it. I mean, but it does add more chocolate flavor when it's packed, okay? All right, so we're gonna bring this to a boil. Any other questions while we're getting this to a boil?
Yes.
Oh, you may have to use a whisk to get the lumps of the cocoa powder out, okay?
Francis was asking, can you use Miracle Whip?
No, it has to be mayonnaise.
Okay. And Janice wants to know, does it make a difference if you use hand mix it or use a mixer?
Well, it's better if you do a mixer, because with cakes, you want to get your cake batter really smooth. With cakes, I can't think of any cake that you don't want to be really smooth. And so with cakes, you want it to be smooth, and the mixer does it easier. I was just trying to show that you can do it by hand if you want to. Okay, now this is almost to a boil, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take a fork and you're going to go all over your cake. And what this is going to do is it's going to get all of that luscious frosting down in your cake, and you're going to say, oh my goodness gracious, this is the most delicious cake I've ever eaten in my whole life. And that is why it's called the Sinful Double Chocolate Cake.
Kathleen wants to know, did I miss adding a bit of salt?
Well, okay, here's the thing about that. I was just noticing that in this recipe. And I think we've been over this before, and this one does not call for salt. Now, you guys know me, and I would put salt in. But the recipe, the original recipe, doesn't call for that. So, oops, oh man, I got chocolate on my new towel. Oh no. My new towel got chocolate. Okay. Now, my frosting is boiling for 1 minute, and we're almost there. Okay, any other questions, dear?
Mostly comments now.
Okay.
Well, Michelle said I missed the beginning. How did it become chocolate? And I did share the recipe again, but you just put the...
Yeah, you can just rewind it, go back to the beginning and look at it. Even if we're live, you guys can go back and rewind it and see it. And it'll be on YouTube afterwards. Okay, so there's your frosting right there. Now, what I do is I start in the middle, because it all tends to go towards the edges. And so this way, I get it.
That's looking like brownie.
Going. It is actually more, David said, ooh, it looks like brownies. It is almost actually more of a brownie than it is a cake, really. All right, and then you're just letting all that yummy goodness seep into all those holes.
Question, is this dinner?
Question, is this dinner from Dave in
Yep.
Meade, Colorado?
Yeah?
Would you like it to be dinner, Dave?
Sure, why not?
Sure, we'll just make chocolate cake dinner. What do you think, Dad?
Yes, that's a perfect dinner. Then I can go to the gym and work it off.
All right, now, since it is Valentine's Day, I am going to add some sprinkles that are Valentine's-y so that my family knows how much their mom loves them. Isn't that great?
Yep.
And we're just going to sprinkle this all over like so. There we go. And because we just love sprinkles, why not just add a few more? There we go. Oh my.
Paula wants to know if you're making that sinful chocolate cake for me for Valentine's.
Well, I am now. You know what's funny is usually by the time holidays come, we're so sick of the recipes because of doing the videos and all of that. We usually don't on the actual holiday do it, but anyway, all right. So that is your Sinful double chocolate cake. Now you don't want to cut this until your frosting has cooled and set up. But that is what it looks like. Dining on a Dime Cookbook, Volume 1, page 287. And it is 25% off right now. So there you go. Happy Valentine's Day, my dear.
Thank you. I'll have to test it here in a little while.
Does that sound yummy?
Yes.
All right. Any questions and comments?
Let me see. There's some new people on.
Well, hello,
Dean
new people.
and Diana Liss. I hope I said that right. Both said first time here live and hi.
Wow. The one's out of there. Hello and welcome. All right, and for those of you who don't know, Ellie has opened up goatmilkgifts.com again. She's been finally able to get supplies again after the whole COVID debacle, fiasco, whatever you want to call it. She's able to get in supplies again, and so she is selling the goat milk cream in 8 ounce and 4 ounce, and the soaps. Right here's a couple. Today I made some acne soap for her. 25% off. Go to goatmilkgifts.com. Coupon code is OPEN25. OPEN25. So, now we come to the chatting portion of our show. What do we want to chat about with our viewers? My handsome hunk of burning love, you.
Wow, lots of people checking in. Richard says, I'm a first-time viewer from London, England, loving your program. Thank you, Richard.
Well, hello. We were just there. Well, not last year now. I guess it was 2019. We went over there for 7 weeks.
And the kids and I were just saying recently how much we wish we could come back now, although I think
They won't let you in
they
now.
won't let us in now. We made too much trouble the last time. Actually, we really didn't. Eileen says hello from Ireland. Love your channel. Hi, Eileen.
Wow, we got them all over the world today.
Yeah, and a lot of new people. So thanks everybody thanks everybody that's here. But it's great for all of you new people. Welcome. Let's see. So there were a lot of comments mostly. Tina says she's making this cake on the 16th for her dad's 80th birthday.
Ooh,
That'll be awesome.
Nice.
And Stephanie says my husband bought me your cookbook for Valentine's Day.
Aww.
Yay.
Don't buy me a cookbook for Valentine's Day, please.
Well, she had the smiley face with the heart eyes, so I think that was a good thing.
I'm only joking. We've got what? Let's see. How many do we have? 8,000 cookbooks in our garage? Something like that. I don't know.
So Stacy's wondering if you think the cake. She says that cake was yummy. I think it would work. Do you think it would work with gluten-free flour?
No. Okay.
But you have
no. So last year when I was testing all the recipes and dinings to write gluten-free, dairy-free, I tried it like 6 different times with several different flours, and it just refused to work. It absolutely refused to work. But there is hope. I did find a really, really good gluten-free chocolate cake recipe. Let's see. I don't know if if it has a picture in this one or not. And it is really good. So the chocolate cake, okay, wait a minute, let me find it on page, just a moment. I'm sorry, I don't have every page number memorized here. Aha, page 232, gluten-free, dairy-free chocolate cake right there. It's delicious. So, it's not this recipe, but use this one in gluten-free, dairy-free. And it's 25% off right now also. And one other note, on page 55 in gluten-free, dairy-free, in this one here, page 55, the baking mix had a typesetting error, and you need to add 2 teaspoons of xanthan gum. Baking mix on page 55 in gluten-free, dairy-free. Add 2 teaspoons of xanthan gum to the baking mix, okay? So we already have that corrected for the next printing, but I just wanted to let everybody know that. So this is our acne soap, and it will be for sale in 2 weeks. We have tons of people always clamoring for our acne soap, so I thought, well, I'll get it made. So, yes, my love.
Wow, a lot of people from Ireland. Welcome. Well, welcome everybody.
Wow.
I especially love Ireland, so.
I liked Ireland.
Yeah.
I just didn't like driving in Ireland.
And Ruth, I'm wondering,
No offense,
where's Monaghan? You said Southern Ireland, so is it Kerry or Cork or somewhere else? Just curious. We spent a lot of time in Kerry.
Spent the whole time praying that the Lord would keep us safe, and He did. Driving in Ireland was very, very hair-raising for an American.
Yeah.
But if I had any place in the world that I could live, it would be Ireland. I absolutely loved the weather. It rained the entire time we were there. I absolutely loved it.
It's so wonderful. Ellie and I were there for 3 weeks in 2017. And then we went back with the whole family in 2019 and stayed a long time in Ireland, particularly.
Yeah,
because
we were
it was
2
our
weeks there.
most favorite.
3 weeks. I don't know. Yeah.
Although it's funny because when I think it was Richard that said he was from London, and I know people in London probably don't appreciate the way that we do, but we just loved the tube. Except that day when it was 100
He loved the tube. I was afraid for my life on the tube. No offense, but I was sure those doors were going to close on me one of those days.
Yeah, well, when we first got there, Tara got to see a guy, when the door started beeping because it's closing, he jumped right into it anyway and got kind of clipped and was flailing around like a fish trying to get through. And so I think that kind of traumatized her right from the
I have
beginning.
post-traumatic tube riding syndrome.
But it was really
People are crazy.
it was really nice to be able to get on it and go anywhere without having to park a car or go back to your car or whatever. But
Yeah.
we made
that
the
was
mistake a
nice.
few times of going during rush hour though, and
Wow.
yeah.
Having your face in everybody's armpits is a little too close for me. Too close for me.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this is the acne soap. It will be ready in 2 weeks. Yes, it will.
So, Deneen, which cookbook should I buy from y'all? The last one. So, if you haven't ever bought one before, we usually recommend the Volume 1, just because it's
got all the basics.
got all the basic things, and then Volume 2 has more awesome things that we didn't include in the first one. Partly because the first one was designed for spending a very small amount of money, and the second one is really great recipes that are still cheap, but not as cheap as the original ones.
Yeah.
So,
And that's Volume 1. And then Volume 2 is its companion, okay? Totally different recipes in there. Volume 1, Volume 2, but they go together, but they're totally different recipes. So you can use whatever one you want is fine.
Linda, if you don't mind me asking, what ingredients are in the soap?
So, this batch, it is cocoa butter, coconut oil, olive oil, canola oil, castor oil in this batch. That's what's in this one. And goat's milk. These are all goat's milk. So these are all the goat's milk soaps. She's got like Blue Sea. She's got oatmeal. Oh, she's got lavender. Oh, that smells so good. Minty lavender. That was the minty lavender one I was just smelling. And then the goat milk creams. She's got the 8 ounce and the 4 ounce. And if you use the coupon code OPEN25, you get 25% off.
Let's see. Still looking. I got ahead of the questions I had on my list now. Ashley, are dairy-free recipes included in both cookbooks?
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you want dairy-free, get gluten-free, dairy-free. But if you don't need to be gluten-free and only dairy-free, for Dining on a Dime, Volume 1 and 2, you can substitute rice milk or coconut milk or almond milk or hemp milk or flax milk or oat milk, whichever milk you want. You can substitute those milks for almost every recipe, okay? There are a couple it won't work on, but the majority of the recipes you can just substitute your dairy-free milk of choice for milk.
So David from Wichita.
My brother
says,
is giving me a hard time again.
He says, "Where's my copy of the gluten-free book?"
Oh, did I not send you a gluten-free one? Yeah. Oh, well, that's okay. When the kids and Mike come tomorrow to visit you guys, I'll send one.
Actually, I was seriously talking about it. Let's see. Okay.
Only kidding, brother dear.
Ooh, Susan says, going to give my granddaughter volume 1. She's getting married in June and will be on a tight budget. Her fiance is going to seminary. Yeah, when Tara wrote the original one,
we were spending $25 for a family of 4
and
a week.
That's pretty much all we could swing.
And even in the early 2000s, which is when we did this, or late, like 1999 to 2000, even then, $25 a week was hard to do.
All right, sounds like we need to get in the car and go there then.
Goatmilkgifts.com. Did I not say that? Goatmilkgifts.com for the goat milk cream and the goat milk soaps. This one's acne. It'll be there in a little bit. But these ones are already ready to go. Coupon code OPEN25. Goatmilkgifts.com for 25% off.
Let's see. I'm looking to see
Thank you, whoever said that. I missed. Who said that? What, my brother said come out?
Well, he says tomorrow with all kinds of question marks,
Oh,
which means
yes.
which means definitely yes. So, all right, let's see. I'm looking for other questions. Oh, we'll have to get Jack in here. Stormy has a joke for him.
Hey, Jack, come here. Oh, does he have his headphones on? I don't think he's got his headphones.
Actually, this would be perfect for Minecraft, too. Beth says, I hear Ireland landscape is very beautiful. It is fantastic.
And the weather was perfect.
It's perfect.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the people are amazing.
So, Miss Stormy has a joke for you. Are you ready?
She says, when you need to buy more cows, where do you go?
To the cow store.
Well, you're close.
You ready? Here it is.
To the catalog.
Oh.
You got him, Stormy.
That was pretty good, huh? It's got to cool and then you can have a piece. I know the temptation. I know the temptation. I'm so sorry.
Allie would like to know, where do you purchase goat's milk? You got it from...
Goat's milk? I get it from a local friend of mine who raises goats. So, yeah.
So Leah wants to know, when and how and why did you decide to write a cookbook?
Because I was out of my mind.
Well, she was pregnant.
Okay, so I was pregnant with my first child, and I got put on bed rest, and I was in all these chat forums, And people kept asking me how to save money on this and how to save money on that. And I read the Tightwad Gazette, and in there she said everyone keeps asking her to write a cookbook, but she didn't want to write a cookbook. And I thought, ding, 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 I can write a cookbook. And so I got put on bed rest and decided to write the cookbook while I was on bed rest. Thought it would be done in the 3 or 4 months that I was on bed rest with my son. And it ended up taking me 2 years to write volume 1. But guys, there's 1,200 recipes and tips in here. So, you know. And so as I started writing it, I would ask Mom for her recipes, and then I asked Grandma for her recipes. And so then Mom started wanting me. She kept saying, well, you got to put this in there. Well, you got to put that in there. Well, you got to put this in there. So then it ended up, my mom and I both writing it 20 years ago. 21 years now is when it came out. I started writing it in 1997, finished in 1999. We self-published with a local printer. Drove 70 miles. How many trips did we make? Oh my goodness. We just had the back of our car. Did we take the pickup down one time?
For
The books the first time? I can't remember.
I think we just would put it in the car.
Yeah.
We just made a lot of trips because I was down there.
Yeah. So
few
we just loaded up the car, made several 70-mile trips to the printer because we lived in no man's land in Idaho back then. And so the rest is history. We were with a publisher for 5 years, a small publisher for 5 years, but the other 15 years we were self-published.
Lisa, is Buster okay? I don't hear him tapping on the floor.
So Ellie came up with a brilliant idea to lay blankets all over the kitchen floor. And so that's why you don't hear Buster tapping. Is he okay though? Well, yesterday, so we're having a real issue. Buster's, for those of you who don't know, he's our little Bichon Frise.
Dog.
Little white poof ball. And he's 17 years old. He's blind and deaf, but he's still eating and still drinking and still peeing and pooping. So, but he can't see and he can't hear. And so he also has dementia. And so he paces around and around and around. So normally on the show, he would go around and around. Well, we're having a hard time grooming him. He doesn't want us to groom him. I mean, it's a fight to groom him. We got like an 1/8 of a toenail clip today with David and Jack both helping hold him while I tried to clip his toenails. And yesterday he ripped a toenail in half.
Somehow. We don't know.
And he must have hit it on something. And our living room and kitchen looked like a crime scene. Mike was at his men's Bible study. I called him and I said, you have to come home now. He said, oh, okay. He came home and he was like, oh my goodness. And I mean, there was just, if you're eating, turn off your mic, turn off your sound. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, there was blood splatted everywhere. And I mean, we spent an hour cleaning the carpet. Finally, Mike held Buster down while Jack was feeding him peanut butter on a spoon while I tried to tape it up with gauze. And is Kathy on there? Is Kathy Bulmer on there? I don't know if you're on there, but Kathy saved Buster's life yesterday. So Kathy sent us this. Dave, can you hand me that? Kathy sent us this wonderful emergency kit.
This is mine.
And that Dave is claiming. So she sent us this one. It's all packed full of emergency gear. Everything you need for emergency gear. Well, I went to go get my tape and I ran out. And I didn't have enough, so Kathy saved Buster's toe. So I tried cornstarch, tried spray bandage. Neither of those worked. So then Mike held him down. Jack gave him peanut butter to try and distract him. And I got a piece of gauze taped on there, but it was still bleeding. So finally we got a sock wrapped around there. And so, yeah, Yeah. So anyway, Buster has been the adventure of our life the last week. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so we had some questions that I had forgotten about. Susan, I think you already said something about this, but she asked if you think you could use a cake mix for this recipe. You said you were going to try it?
I'm going to try it and see. I bet you could. I'm going to try it and see. So.
And Diane wants to know, do you ever grow veggies in a greenhouse?
I don't here, but when we lived in Idaho, we had a really big greenhouse, and I grew them in Idaho. Just because you get snow on the 4th of July in Idaho, so I had no choice. If I wanted vegetables, I had to have a greenhouse.
And Janice had asked earlier, what's the difference between that frosting and ganache?
So ganache is chocolate chips or chocolate bars and whipping cream mixed together. So you melt them. But you could use ganache if you want instead of that. This is just the cheap version.
Let's see. Richard had asked if we are shipping books to London. And unfortunately, we ship books to other countries out of the U.S., but the shipping is really, really expensive. But we ran into a problem with UK where at the first of the year, there were some new VAT tax rules that went into place, and we're unable to comply with it, so we can't send the print books there right now. We are planning to look and see if we can get them into Amazon, but currently they're not. We do have the ebook versions.
All of our books are in ebook form, so you can get that.
So that would be livingonadime.com, and then click on store. We would really like to get to be able to ship there, but so far, no. We used to ship there, but it was really expensive at the time. And then, of course, if we happen to come out, it would be the perfect opportunity to bring one.
So how do we explain bringing in 15 suitcases of cookbooks to the UK at the airport? How do we explain that?
Actually, what's funny is...
we have a lot of friends.
What was it that we brought back?
Kingdom.
It was Jelly Babies and something else.
Chocolate and tea.
And, wow, we tripped all the alarms in the U.S. when we came back.
Oh man, I spent so much time at customs. They were like, "Why do you have all this candy?" We said, "Well, we have a really big family, and we really love your candy, or we love the candy over there." And so when we came back, like we had one suitcase full of Jelly Babies and Cadbury and tea. My favorite tea is for all you Irish people. I still have the little. Right here, I still have the little box, the Fallons. This is my absolute favorite tea in the whole wide world, I've decided, is Fallons from Ireland. You can't get it here, you can't get it on Amazon, but I kept the little paper just in case, or the little box piece just in case. But, yeah.
Yeah, actually, she was loving the tea. Oh yeah, so the Jelly Babies and the chocolate and stuff. So when we got to security, the Jelly Babies all have just this light coating of powdered sugar?
Powdered sugar, yeah.
Powdered sugar, and then the chocolate was these little bricks of...
Yeah.
And so they were... I can't remember how it came about, but somehow the person at TSA told me that they were having to check to make sure that the chocolate wasn't bombs and that the
Jelly Babies weren't cocaine.
Like, okay. And what's funny is when we were in the UK, they would, I mean, I'm sure that it wasn't really an option, but they would say, "Hey, can I go ahead and check your bag here," or something like that, or they would sort of like suggest that they were asking permission. In the U.S., I said, "Oh, sure, go ahead and check," and he said, "Oh, I didn't ask your permission." I was thinking, okay, I was trying to be nice, but.
Yeah, my second favorite tea from Ireland is berries. As a matter of fact, I have a box of it up there right now. That's my second favorite tea. Mike got me some. Now that we can get here in the U.S. at World Market, but you can't get the Fallons.
Yeah.
Somebody asked about shipping media mail. So in the United States, we can ship media mail. But outside of the United States, we can't ship media mail. And so to ship our books outside of the United States is anywhere from $40 to $70, depending on where it's going for shipping. Sorry.
We would like to try to do it through Amazon, but it would still probably cost a significant amount for us to be able to send them over. But Amazon gets cheaper prices than us, so it'd probably be a lot less than what it was for us directly. Jennifer says suitcases full of candy are for personal use. It's medicinal. Yes.
I was thinking of you. I drove by your place. Well, not your house specifically, but I drove by where you live on Monday. Dave and Jack and I went to the dentist in Boulder, and I was waving at you as I drove by. I was thinking, hi, Jennifer. Yeah, we got to go back next week. Would you believe? Remember all our dental work last year? We got to have the same amount done again.
Wait, which teas did you say were the best?
Berries and Fallons.
I know you like berries. I didn't remember the Fallons.
This one.
Gotcha.
They had it at Tesco. I loved it. Oh, it was so good. This one, I just tried not to drink it, and I finally... Last year, I think I kept it for about 10 months or so, but oh man, it was so good.
Allie asks if you make soap with goat's milk, do you like liquid or dry? I didn't know there was.
So I use both. It just depends on what recipe I'm making. Just depends on what recipe I'm making. I use both dry and the milk.
Oh, Out of Goshen is on. Hello, living on a dime friends.
Did you guys get snow? I saw your video and I didn't see if you guys got snow yet.
We still need to make a road trip.
I know. Yeah, we do. Let me see. Is it cool yet?
Yeah, actually, it's funny.
Grab a plate.
It's funny, on the day before, the last day we were in London, Jack asked to go back to the London Eye, and Ellie and I took him into town because we were out close to the airport at that point, which is probably 40 minutes away on the tube. And when we went into town, we took him on the London Eye, and the funny thing is, it pretty much never stops. When people get on, it just keeps going. It is this big Ferris wheel looking thing, if you've never heard of it, with big glass capsules that look like the giant pill capsules. And just when it got to the top, it stopped. It never usually stops. People just get on while it's moving. And I thought, well, they're probably helping a disabled person on or something. But after about 10 minutes, we realized, oh, it's not starting again.
It's stuck.
And
okay, here's Dad's portion, and here's Jack's portion.
Yum.
Yay.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Yeah, this will only take me about an hour to work it off. Anyway, so we got stuck up there at the very top. And it was actually kind of fun. We felt like we got a bonus deal. Being able to stay up there longer.
Yeah, you guys got at the very top too, didn't you?
We were right at the very top, and then a storm started to come in, and I was thinking, well, I hope it's not a lightning storm.
Is it delicious?
But
Those poor people like down at the bottom. Were
Yeah.
probably like,
I know.
Yeah, we had the perfect view, and we probably were 3 times as long on it as normal. But after about 10 or 15 minutes, they came on and said, well, there's some kind of an issue going on, and we're calling an engineer in, and they'll be here in a little while.
Yeah, that's comforting to know.
We were okay with it, but...
So what if you get stuck up there? How do they get you down?
Oh, I'm sure there are ways, and we weren't really worried at all.
Do they bring a helicopter and have you jump into the helicopter and hope you don't land in the river?
That sounds like a tourist question.
Yeah, but I think I should have the right to... They should have that posted on there. If you get stuck at the top, here's how we will rescue you.
But anyway, after that, we stopped at Tesco, and we got absolutely as much candy as we could to fill up all the bags that we had emptied when we came. Because we brought some gifts and stuff for friends when we came.
Yeah.
And so
it wasn't all for us, just so you know.
No, I mean, we brought gifts for friends when we came, and then we filled it up with candy and stuff on the way back.
So we have friends in England and Ireland that we visited while we were there, and we had brought them some stuff, and so, yeah. So somebody asked about Mom moving. So Mom lives 500 miles away, and she drives out to visit us. But we are trying to currently move. We have not found any houses yet, but We are hoping, right now is the slow season, and around March and April is when houses start really picking up to go on the market. We hope to find something in March, April. I really hope not later than May. But I don't know. We've been looking for 4.5 years and really looking hard for the last year. And I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I was gonna say Eileen, because Eileen had asked. I think Eileen was the one that asked the question about Jill, your mom driving.
Yeah.
And she's in Derry, Northern Ireland. Well.
Oh wow. Oh,
Derry, Ireland.
Well, and to finish that, we're hoping to have 2 houses on one lot so that Mom could move in on our property.
I was gonna say though.
Yeah.
Driving 500 miles in the United States is a lot easier than driving 500 miles in Ireland. Because the roads from Jill's house to here are very straight for the most part, and the speed limit's pretty high. It's like 75 miles per hour. I don't remember how that would be. It was like 140 or something kilometers an hour. I can't remember for sure. So, yeah, because one of the things that I think when we were driving in Ireland that... I think Ellie and I had this experience before, so maybe it wasn't so much with Tara, but I realized in Ireland you can only expect to go about half as far as you would in the U.S. when you're just kind of guessing with your brain.
Yeah, and we also learned don't listen to Google.
Yeah.
Don't listen to Google Maps. Your life will be in danger if you do.
Oh, I can't remember if it's the L roads or the R roads that are the smallest ones in the Republic, the L roads. And Google would say, oh, hey, it would look at the speed limit in Ireland and it would say, oh, this route will save you 5 minutes if you go on this L road. And it was, for those of you who don't live in Ireland, a lot of the L roads are like 1 lane wide.
So in Ireland, their 2-lane roads are like America's 1-lane road with no shoulders and rock walls and hedges on the side.
Well, Google would look at it and see that the speed limit was 80, and so it would think it was going to be faster for us to go that way. And we were white knuckling it on those little roads.
My goodness, it was awful.
And we started thinking, I said to the kids, I'm just not going to believe Google anymore. We already kind of had an idea on certain roads that Ellie and I had been on before, and we knew not to go on the really tiny ones except when. We tried a couple times because of Google, but...
It was just awful. Is there a launch date for the Bible study?
I shot some things, and I was going to redo them a little differently. So...
I think next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday? Okay. Could do that. We could do that. Now everybody's going to hold me to it. I recorded some, and we looked at them and decided to do something a little bit different than what I had recorded, and so that's the delay. And partly I was trying to figure out what kind of things people would prefer. I asked Tracy last week. So
what is with all of these international people watching us tonight? That is so cool. Well, hello, all you guys staying up till midnight watching us.
Well, and Turid says she hoped the show would go for 2 hours because she's cooking. She didn't call it sourdough bread. She called it sour... I should see what she said. Where is it? Oh, she called it something else.
Right here. So, it was at the top.
Oh, this is the top.
It was right there.
Oh, here it is.
There it is.
She calls it... Oh, it's not there either.
Huh.
Here,
I don't know.
I think I put it on my notes here. She said... Sour bread. Oh, sour, S-A-U-E-R, bread.
She makes 4 loaves, 2 breads with sunflower seeds, pumpkin seed, and others. Ooh, yum.
Wow. And Turid is in Norway, so she's probably an hour later than London, even.
Yeah.
Or an hour, ahead.
Yeah.
So, wow. Eileen says she lives in Ireland and the roads scare her, too.
Oh, have mercy. I've never been. And, you're in a rental car. And the rental car we got in Ireland, we were the first people driving it. So, if there was even one little ding on it, it would be awful. And, it was bad.
And I was kind of terrified thinking... I hate that they gave us a brand new one. They said, hey, we're going to upgrade you to this BMW, and it's brand new. And I was thinking,
we have a clunker?
I I don't know if I want the absolutely newest, fanciest car. Because when Ellie and I went the first time, we got a tiny car that was basically just enough for two of us and some luggage. And they wanted to upgrade me, and I said no. I knew the roads were going to be tight, and I was pretty glad to have my first experience on a small car. And never drove on the wrong side of the road, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
and we even made the roundabouts without getting killed.
yeah, and what the funny
mercy.
thing is, I don't know why, but for some reason we came back to the States. I was having a really hard time for probably a month or two getting used to going right around the roundabouts.
Yeah. Allie, I do still have my How to Make Soap for Beginners e-course. Go to livingonadime.com, click on the shop, and click on e-courses. Livingonadime.com, shop, e-courses, and I have my How to Make Soap for Beginners e-course. And it's got all the videos and all of the ebooks.
So, wow, getting a lot of feedback on the Bible study idea.
Okay, so what do you guys want to know on the Bible studies? What kind of stuff do you want to know? What do you want to learn from the Bible study?
Well, I asked Tracy last week about question and answer, or read a chapter and comment on the chapter, or topical. And I think Tracy said she thought topical.
So you guys tell us what you want. Richard, what is cream tea? I don't know what that is. If you mean tea with milk in it, I like tea with cream in it. I don't like tea with milk in it. And I know over there, it's not tea if they don't have milk, but...
Well, in about a week of the time that we spent there, we spent with a friend in North Yorkshire. And in
she was
Massam,
really English.
in Massam, and it was a beautiful little town, and she was wonderful.
And she took us to a real tea room. It was nice.
Yeah, she took Tara and Shayla and Ellie. Yeah, our sister-in-law and Ellie. So it was pretty awesome. Ooh, lots of questions. Alrighty.
Oh, and somebody really recommends the soap e-course. Thank you. Yeah, I tried to do my How to Make Soap for Beginners e-course. Super simple, so that I walk you through each of the steps on how to make soap. So, yeah.
Actually, what's funny, I shouldn't confess, it might be illegal.
Oh, cream tea is scones with clotted cream. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. I could live on scones with clotted cream. Clotted cream is sent from heaven. I think clotted cream is the most perfect food in the entire world. Just smother it on everything. Oh, it was delicious.
When Ellie and I first...
Just delicious.
So Ellie and I were kind of the what I forgot what they used to call them in the war, but we were the ones that went ahead and scouted. So in 2017, Ellie, our daughter, and I went, just the two of us. And at the time, we were trying to figure out how could we go for the least amount of money and do the most amazing stuff. And really, we ended up a lot closer to the people and not kind of in the touristy things as much, and that made it a much nicer trip. But what was funny is, as we were leaving on the last day, we were staying in Vauxhall in the just south of the Thames in London, and we went to a grocery store. We went to Tesco, a grocery store, and Jill had wanted to try clotted cream, and we were thinking, if we buy it right now, would it still be good by the time we get back to the States? And so we bought some clotted cream at Tesco and stuck it in the bags and got on the plane and came home. And when we got to the U.S., they were asking us to declare all these things. And I think one of them was, do you have any dairy, or do you have any this or that? And I just put no. And later on I thought, oh, it never occurred to me that it might be dairy. Well, I mean, it is dairy, but it never occurred to me to think when they asked the question that was actually in our stuff. But they had a dog sniff us, and the dog didn't go crazy. So, but it was kind of hilarious. And then Jill was really well. No, did your mom actually try the clotted cream that we brought?
I think I maybe ate it all before she got here.
Did we bring back more?
But we made some. Clotted cream is super easy to make. All you take is heavy whipping cream, put it in a pan, like a cake pan, put it in the oven at 170 degrees, and let it just bake all night for 170 degrees. In the morning, the clotted part is going to come to the top, and the liquid part is going to be on the bottom. Don't throw away the liquid part. Use it for your tea or use it for baking. And then you scoop off the hardened, it's not hard, but it's thickened. Scoop off the thickened clotted cream on the top, And here, we don't eat scones so much, but oh my goodness, it's good on bagels. It's good on cinnamon toast. Oh, it's good on anything you would put butter or cream cheese on, you can put clotted cream on. It was, so delicious.
Eileen, yes, we did get video in Ireland and England, although I think...
Well, we just type in Ireland go to Living on a Dime on YouTube, and in the search bar for the videos, just type in Ireland. We have all our videos.
Well, we didn't publish. So when Ellie and I went, I think I made some videos from some of the footage we shot while we were in Ireland, telling people how to go for less money, because a lot of people just think they say things like, it's my life's dream to go and it's never going to happen. And I was thinking, well, it'll never happen if you say that. And so we kind of made some videos to try to help people figure out how to go for a good price. And then when we went, we brought some gear to shoot video. We did shoot video everywhere we went, but we edited some London and some North Yorkshire and some, I think right about when we were in Scotland, we were just getting overwhelmed with all the editing and we stopped making the videos at that point. So I think we did some live things though also. Mm-hmm. We have Tara, I think our first thing when we were, our first or second day in London, we did a live stream from Buckingham Palace, or in front of Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
And Tara, somehow she didn't get her appointment with the Queen.
Well, I thought they were there for me.
So
clotted cream is just a really thickened cream. So it's cream, whipping cream here in the United States, heavy whipping cream. And then you bake it really slow at 170 degrees overnight. And in the morning when you get up, the thickened cream on the top is what the clotted cream is. It's super delicious.
Rose, I both look fabulous and your kitchen looks really nice decorated.
Oh, thanks.
Actually, a lot of people were commenting on the that earlier. Oh, well, bandana, Grandma, reconnaissance wasn't the word I was thinking, but I forgot. I think Pathfinder is the word I was thinking. My grandfather was in the 82nd Airborne in World War II, and they parachuted behind enemy lines the night before. And there was a group that went even ahead of them that they called Pathfinders. Or I think the guys called themselves Candlesticks too. Because they would go in and set flares so that the paratroopers would know where to land. And that's kind of what I was joking around about that. But in reality, when Ellie and I went, we didn't anticipate bringing the whole family later.
Yeah. So Cheryl wants to start off light on the Bible study and start with Revelation.
Wow, I love Revelation, but I'm not a super expert on it.
Now, here's the thing. If you're talking Bible prophecy and things that are happening now, Revelation is where you don't want to be looking. Revelation, the majority of the Bible, or of the book of Revelation, actually talks about what happens after the church is gone and what's going to be left. So, yeah. So Diane says, in the Bible study, I was wondering why things like swearing are allowed in some churches now, but not when I was little. Other things would not just a drink of wine at supper, but drinking multiple drinks at a party. Why is that, and what does the Bible actually teach? So we'll give you the short version right now. The Bible says, let no unwholesome talk come out of your mouth. So if they're swearing in church, you need to find a different church.
A lot of churches are kind of just getting away from the Bible.
Yeah.
And then I think, well, what is your basis for what you say then?
Yeah, if your church isn't following biblical principles, then you need to find a different church. And swearing in church is one of those. You should not have any unwholesome talk coming out of your mouth, especially in church. I totally understand if you were not raised in the church and you were raised, around cursing a lot. It's going to come out every now and then when you're a Christian sometimes. But if it comes out on a regular basis in church, or at all in church, like especially from the pastor, that is a problem. Now, as far as drinking, the Bible says nothing against drinking. It is fine to drink a glass of wine or whatever, but you are not supposed to get drunk. And back then, they drank wine more so for medicinal and hydrating purposes, because the water wasn't as good as it is now. So wine was a standard drink. But that's why it says, do not be drunk. So that's where those two things come from, just so you know.
But a lot of churches are kind of going off on their own, basically making up their own thing, which isn't really biblical.
Yeah.
And that's the reason
That's not
why.
okay.
And
Yeah.
it's good that you recognize the difference.
Yeah. And if your church has a woman that's a pastor, if your church marries anybody else other than just one man and one woman, if your church marries people who have been divorced but there wasn't adultery, if your church is doing things like swearing or what else? If your church says that Jesus is not God, Jesus is God. Some churches are saying that now. What are some other things that our churches are saying? I was trying to hit the big ones. But anyway, if any of those things are happening in your church, then you need to go find another church. And I'll tell you right off the bat, it is really hard to find a good Bible-believing church that stands by the Word of God now.
You don't have to go to Jesus
So,
to be saved.
well, yeah, and the main one is if they tell you that you can go to heaven, that there's many ways to heaven, there is not many ways to heaven. The only way to heaven is to admit you're a sinner, realize that Jesus died on the cross for your sin, he rose again on the third day, and for you to just say, I am sorry for my sins and I want to live for you, Jesus. Give your life to him. That is the only way to heaven. There are lots of people, we were just talking about this yesterday. I'm just shocked at some of the people coming out saying, oh, there's many ways to heaven. Guys, there's not many ways to heaven. The Bible is very, very specific. And you cannot be good enough to go to heaven. If your religion tells you that you have to confess your sins to a person in order for you to go to heaven, that's false. That's not from the Bible either. The only person you have to confess your sins to is Jesus.
Yes. Sorry, I was going to say something else, but I thought you already said it pretty much. Yes. Actually, somebody said something about wine in the Bible times wondering if it was not as strong or something like that. I don't remember.
It may not have been as strong either back then.
But,
yeah.
well, a lot of people drank wine in the old days more because water was not clean. And the wine would kill whatever might be likely to kill them.
Yeah.
And some places in the world, like France, it's more common for people to drink wine just regularly with the meal, and that's not necessarily
And if you guys don't have a Bible,
they don't usually get, the people that we were around mostly they don't drink to get drunk, they just drink to drink. So, sorry, what were you going to say?
well, I was just going to say, if you guys don't have a Bible, we have a large print Bible available at livingonadime.com for free if you can't afford it, and only $9.50 if you can. We give them to free, though, for people who can't afford them. Just use the coupon code Free Bible. livingonadime.com, click on the shop, click on the Bibles. We do not contact you. I mean, other than we'll send you our newsletter, but we're not going to call you. We're not going to come to your house. It is just a New Living Translation of the Bible so that it's easy to read and easy to understand. There are no other books that go with the Bible. If someone tells you that there are other books that go with the Bible or other revelations, that is not the case either.
And sometimes people get offended by that, and then our intent is not to offend you, but particularly for people that say they believe the Bible and another thing, the Bible excludes the other things, so that's inconsistent. So so we're not trying to critique anybody. We're just saying that the Bible is the Word of God, and if something contradicts it, then it's not the Word of God. So
yeah. And let's see. Oh, and if you guys need preaching, go to livingonadime.com, go to our resources tab at the top. We have a Christian resources, and we have pastors that we have vetted. Pastor Jack Hibbs, Pastor David Jeremiah, Pastor Charles Stanley. Those are all good Bible-based preachers who have stayed Bible-based preachers and have not gone off away from the Bible. They've actually stayed true to the Bible. Those are some good online pastors. Watch them. They're really, really good.
I hate to dispute the comment, but it's fine if you like the King James Bible. It's a very good Bible. It's not the only legitimate translation, though. And there are a lot of good translations out there, and no translation into English is perfect, but there are a lot of really good ones. And we particularly like New American Standard, New King James, New Living Translation.
The English Standard.
English Standard is good.
New International?
New International Version. Some people have problems with that, but I have done a lot of research into that, and even though I understand what people are saying on that, it does not neutralize what the Bible is trying to say because of those things. I could get into that in more detail at some point, but if there's one that you feel more comfortable with, then read it. So
Yeah.
Susan says Charles Stanley is amazing. He's my absolutely most favorite. Yeah. I wish he was family. Well, I guess he is family, but I mean, I wish he was family that I actually saw frequently. So.
Yeah.
How is BJ doing and feeling?
Well, right now he's at a job interview, so he's super excited. He's hoping to switch job. He's doing good. He's living in his RV, but I think he's a little lonely. He spends a lot of time over here.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have him visiting us than visiting the bar, so that's okay with Mom. But him and Dad and him and Mike and the boys play their video games together and everything. But he's doing good. As far as feeling, he's not really doing a whole lot better. And that's one of the reasons why he has quit He's a cell phone salesman right now. The job is extremely stressful. We're talking ridiculous things like death threats and people flopping on the floor screaming because they can't do something on their cell phone. And it's the stress of dealing with these people. You know, they're having to call security every few days. It's ridiculous. And so, and this is just what's happening because people are losing their minds now. But he's not feeling very good. He is tired of doctors, so he just doesn't want to try anymore to go to the doctor, and I don't blame him. But if he could get another job, that's not quite so stressful, that would help some with that. He's looking to be an RV salesman. He really wants to be. He's living in an RV. For those of you who don't know, he has a YouTube channel called Because I Can. And he talks about living in his RV with his 2 cats. So, yeah.
One thing about the Bible translation thing, by the way, if you've heard that the Bible has been mistranslated, there are some versions that are mistranslated. And I would say if you go to BibleGateway.com, if there's a translation on there, it's probably not mistranslated. But I know for sure, like New American Standard, the ones that we mentioned before, New American Standard, New King James, New Living Translation, English Standard, those are all good translations. But for people, if you've heard that something has not been translated right compared to the original language, you can actually go look at the original language. And it depends on how much time you want to spend it. But there are Bible versions called interlinear versions where they actually have the English words next to the Greek or Hebrew or Aramaic words. And you can look at it and try to understand what the difference is. And there are kind of things that you can look from people who understand the languages to learn how to look for certain things. Like in John 1:1 it says, in the beginning the Word was with God and the Word was God. But one incorrect translation has changed it to was a God. But you can look in the original in that interlinear and see English next to the Greek, and you can see that there's no A in there. And it's kind of interesting because for the particular version that's not translated correctly is a specific group of people that their group has intentionally mistranslated it, sadly, but they have an interlinear version, and so they can actually look at that. And so if you aren't sure, I found that at times in my Christian life there have been times where people said, well, just how do we know the Bible is translated correctly? Well, how do we know this? How do we know that? And each of those times I was thinking, yeah, how do we know? So then I would do a big extended study about it. And I think I drove Tara crazy with a few of those. But it's just where I was thinking, yeah, I want to know. How do I know for sure this is reliable? And one cool thing about a lot of the translations is because the Dead Sea Scrolls were found and some other ancient documents from pretty much right at the time of Christ, you can compare translations now to the translations then, and that's how you can tell if they've been changed significantly. And it's funny for people who just absolutely love King James. It is a really good translation, and up to that time, I think it was really the best. But the thing is that even if you look at some of the other translations, even at the time, it's amazing how much they exactly line up with the stuff from right after the time of Christ, when the oldest documents that have been found. So.
Karen says there are a lot of pastor leaders nowadays twisting the scriptures to justify use of their found language and drinking hard liquor. Very concerned about these new trends. Yeah, and do not go to a church that preaches that. There's nothing wrong with drinking, but if you're justifying getting drunk and cursing all the time, that's not okay. So you need to find another church, and I'll tell you, it is really hard to find a good Bible-based church. And even some of them that you think are good, then it ends up, they're not. And so the best way to counteract that is to actually read the Bible yourself. When you see a sermon being preached, write down the Bible's references and then go read them yourself. Don't depend on the pastor to just tell them, and read them in the whole context of the chapter of the Bible so that you know what is actually being said. So thank you for all of you guys who are praying for BJ. Yeah, he's still not feeling good, but after we spent, 2 or 3 years going to doctors, he just really got tired of doctors. So yeah, he doesn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. Which
I don't blame him, but anyway.
So anyway, yes, I would. It's one of the things that I would like to stress on that too is one reason why when Tara was talking about, people were asking questions and Tara was answering about churches that don't follow the Bible. A lot of people, a majority of people that say they're Christian don't read the entire Bible for themselves, and if you rely on other people to tell you, there's some danger in that. One of the reasons we want to send out Bibles is so you can read it for yourself. And if for some reason you don't like the translation we send out, you can get a translation that you would rather have. And that the main thing that's important is to read it and understand it for yourself. And that's why I say, like when people have said, well, yeah, as long as it's translated correctly. So that's when I kind of went on a mission to learn to translate it. And there was a group of people I was discussing with one time who had kind of come to me. And we were having a discussion about why their Bible was different from my Bible. And so I invited them to go back and let's look at the Greek together. And the
thing is... Was this the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they really didn't want to. Because I think they've heard that other people are going to try to deceive them. And that wasn't my intention, but I was just thinking because they have an interlinear version in their own church that's not easy to access. But I just was thinking that way you can check with your own church who has a translation that you can look at and see if I'm telling you the truth. And I think the Bible talks about a group of people called the Bereans, and it was praising them because every time every time Paul would say something, they would be flipping through the scripture to see, is this really in there? And I think it's wise. That's the main thing. I think it's important for you to look for yourself, because I think most people that are deceived just don't ever read it. So
Yeah. Okay, back to BJ. No, when we spent all that money going to Mayo Clinic and all of that a few years ago, they did not figure out what was wrong with him. Although we think one thing he was not tested for, but we think he might have, is called POTS, and it's a blood circulation issue. Don't know if that's what he has for sure. The test to figure out if that's what he has is kind of rough, and he's like, nope, I'm done. So he just does what he can to try to feel better, but yeah.
Ditching the grind, I'm not really an expert in 401ks, so I'm not sure. Although I would say if it's between that and paying off debt or something, I would pay off the debt. But I think if you have the opportunity...
Once your debt is paid off, I would put it in for matching, I guess.
I don't know really enough about them to be sure. What I did notice is when I worked for PBS and there was a big economic crash in 2001 or 2, it was after the September 11th attacks. A lot of people had investments in things that they had no control of. And so a lot of the people that I knew lost like half of their retirement because they couldn't move it into anything else. So if I were working a regular job and had those opportunities, I would want to find out if there's some sort of a major disaster that appears to be coming, can I move my money into something else? And if I couldn't, I probably wouldn't invest in that.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about 401ks to really be able to tell you for sure. So,
we are going to start a Bible study. I forgot. Was it Stephanie? I don't know. Whoever asked. Mike's Tuesday. Mike's starting a Bible study. Tuesday, he's starting a Bible study. So, but yeah. So Torrid got one of her breads done. So now she has. Torrid, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning in Norway. What are you doing baking bread at 1 o'clock in the morning, girlfriend?
yeah.
You're crazy. She probably just couldn't sleep, so she decided to bake bread. I'll bet you anything.
All right.
Yeah, so if you guys are signed up for our newsletter, livingonadime.com, we have a newsletter. We will make a short video and put it on YouTube, and we'll put a notice in our newsletter and on Facebook saying when and where to find Mike's Bible study. Probably another channel.
Yeah, I was thinking about putting on a different channel so that YouTube gets confused if there's too many different directions on the same channel. But we probably would do some on this channel in order to kind of point people to it so you'd know where to find it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and Bandana Grandma wants to know, is it a sin for Christians to eat sinfully delicious chocolate cake? Well,
Actually, somebody else said... Sorry, go ahead.
now, if you're eating it out of gluttony, yes. Which I would sit down and eat the whole thing.
Yeah, Elizabeth said earlier, kind of giggling over sinful cake.
I know. I know, it's pretty funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, so anyway. Do you have a new name for the channel? Not for his Bible one yet.
I was wondering if they meant for the other one you were talking about.
Oh, for my recipe channel? So I'm starting a cooking channel. And actually, I do have a new name, and I have one video posted. One video! But I'm going to wait until I get a couple more videos up there so you guys have more than one video to watch. So I'll announce it next week. I should have the videos done. So I'll announce that too. So
in the Bible thing, Lori's asking what time. What time am I doing it, dear?
Well, you're not going. Are you going live?
Actually, I was planning to record some things and put them up, and then kind of try to test to see what seems to be working the best. So I'll probably put up some recorded ones first. But I'm not sure what time because I just found out I was doing it Tuesday.
Darlene paid off her credit card
Yay!
and truck today.
Hot dog.
Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to Darlene and her husband. Congratulations to you.
Yay!
Woo!
That's really awesome, Darlene.
That is great.
That's fantastic. I don't know if you'll find it a good feeling today, but in a month or two you'll
When it
think,
sinks
man,
in.
this is really awesome.
When you don't have to write those checks.
It's funny because when we paid off the house, we paid off credit cards way earlier, but we still had the house payment for a long time after that. I don't know. I just wasn't as aggressive paying it off as we were on the other things. But nevertheless, when we paid off the house, it took a couple months to realize, oh, wait, we've really done this.
Mm-hmm.
You did answer about the, okay, you did already.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
All right, guys. Goatmilkgifts.com for Ellie's goat milk cream and goat milk soaps. 25% off. Goatmilkgifts.com. Coupon code OPEN25 for 25% off. Livingonadime.com. 25% off all of our cookbooks, guys. All of our print cookbooks are 25% off. Livingonadime.com. We, what? Go
Janet.
to Facebook.
Wait,
What?
where?
He did? Did he really?
I don't know.
See, he never tells his mother anything.
Janet said, Mike and Tara, did you not see that
What?
DJ got the job?
Did he really? Who says that?
Did he post something or something somewhere?
Did he call? He called mom, and he didn't call his own mother. Oh, he's not on Facebook anymore, is he? Did he really?
I wonder if your mom said something about it. Anyway,
Okay.
we'll have to go find
We
out.
have to see. Hold on. Let's just see. Real quick. Hold on. Just a minute. Hold on. Just a
And
second.
so for those who were asking, I know Tara already sort of answered, but I was with BJ the last half a dozen appointments with doctors, and at the end, so he went to Mayo and they ruled out anything like catastrophically life-threatening. And at the end, we ended up at I forgot what you call it. It's a doctor that deals with, it starts with an E, but it deals with, I think it's the transfer of fluids through your body. And he said that some people just are built in a way where their bodies don't tolerate certain things. Like
She must be talking to him.
he was saying that he probably just needs to take breaks frequently and stuff like that. I forgot what the.
So he must be
Yes,
on the
Jill
phone
spilled
with
the
mom
beans.
now. Yay, BJ!
Woo!
So all right, do we need an RV?
Yeah.
We should get an RV and start traveling the world. So it looks like he's officially an RV salesman now. Actually,
Did he want us to tell that?
oh, probably, yeah, I probably wouldn't care. But, oh my goodness, that kid is going to be bringing in the bucks if he does RV sales. I have never seen a kid so good at sales. And what's funny is he's truthful about the sales.
Now he's calling you.
He doesn't try to, finagle anybody or anything.
I think what he was hoping for is a sales job, but one that's not that's got a little more. He felt a little like the company that he was working for. Currently, their phone support is, I guess, misleading and irritates a lot of people. And then all the people come into the store and berate all the employees and yell at them And so I think he was looking for an employer that has a higher standard of how they treat their customers and things like that. And so he had several different opportunities, and he had a different one offer him a job, which I think he was appreciative of. But there was one particular one he really wanted because he thought, based on what he knew about them, that they would probably be more straight up with their customers and not trying to, deceive people and stuff like that. So
Yeah. He's an honest salesman.
What's funny is he's an honest salesman. He's got a super high standard for wanting to be honest with people, but he sells more.
He's one of their top salesmen at the place he's at now.
He sells more than the pushy, deceptive people because people know what they're going to get. And a lot of times the places want you to kind of push somebody to buy something right this second. And he'll give him his card and tell him go off and think about it. And if you have any questions, let me know. and some people just don't like that he that he's honest and still successful. Yeah, endocrinologist, Jennifer, thank you. That's what I was thinking. The endocrinologist said, essentially they said in the end that nobody could find a serious life-threatening problem. The endocrinologist said we could spend as much money as we want chasing things, but a lot of times people just have a certain issue that because of the way that their body is made, they can't tolerate certain things. So for him, the doctor highly recommended taking more breaks, sleeping more regularly, and having a more regular schedule in a lot of things.
And not have so much stress.
And not a lot of stress. And that was the thing with the job, is that he'd kind of made an arrangement with his previous job that he would be happy to be a killer salesman for them, but he had certain requirements of not working as many hours, and he negotiated that in his contract at the time. But they were really having a hard time because that's just not, even though they agreed to it, that's not normally the way that they do things.
Yeah.
But I think they mainly agreed because he's a really good salesman.
Well, they didn't want to leave him, and they were begging him to come back. Okay, I'm trying to find his channel. Now, why can his own mother not find his channel? And when it's small, he's just getting his channel going, so it's small. But, oh, good grief. What's a video that BJ did on there that... let's see. Let me try this.
Oh.
No. Did you find him?
No.
Oh. Shoot. I can't find his channel. He just changed the name, and so now it's not coming up.
I do have a sense on the Bible thing that it'll be like a... I was a little concerned it would be like an avalanche.
An avalanche? Why?
Start doing it and then have so many things that it's hard to maintain the speed at which the ideas would come.
See, now you know how I feel on a regular basis.
Yes, I do. So,
oh shoot, I can't find BJ's channel now. Why is it
Lisa
not
says mom is blocked.
Little turkey. Actually, he probably knew we were live. I'll give him the
Your
benefit.
mom says he said that the guy was so impressed that he brought his resume in instead of doing it online.
Wow.
Yeah. Actually, what's funny is he brought just a big pile of records showing how
his
he
sales
was
records
one of the top salesmen in the company.
Yeah.
Where he's working now. So.
Yeah.
And I think that they really liked that, so
we're
pleased for him. So hoping everything is amazing for him. So.
Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel, but I can't find it now. I don't know. I'll put it up next week for you guys, but anyway. All right, guys. Any other last questions? Oh, here it is.
Is this the
same
same
no,
channel?
That's his technology channel.
We'll find it.
Oh, wait. Go to community page. How do I find the community page?
It's on the left somewhere.
Community. Show more. How do I work this newfangled thing called YouTube? Well, how do I find the community page?
Yeah, actually, it's funny. Rosary Chaplet, he likes to go hiking. He likes to go hiking in the mornings. In the warmer months of the year, he'll go 5 days a week. And I think getting out and getting in that and kind of having the regular exercise and kind of getting away from everything and being out in the sunlight is really something that he appreciates. So
here, subscriptions, would that be it? Here, okay, where is he at? He's on here. Nope, that's his aquarium. He's got 4 YouTube channels. Ah, here he is. Okay.
Well, the funny thing is he's just been trying to. He's not been giving up, and he's been diligently working to figure out what would work the best for him.
Well, and what's so funny is he barely wanted to. He wanted to drop out of high school because he just hated school.
Thank you, Tracy.
His guidance counselor said, well, you have to go to college because you're never going to amount to anything if you don't go to college. And I was there, and I just wanted to slap the woman upside her head. I was so mad. Oh, my goodness. I was like, don't you dare tell anybody that. And, oh, yeah.
Turd spread.
Ooh, your bread looks good, Turd. And so his guidance counselor told him that he would amount to nothing if he didn't. Well, now He makes twice what she does at 22 years old.
So
So anyway, oh, he's here?
for those of you who know Turid, this is the bread Turid was making tonight. This is Turid in Norway, who we visited in 2019 while we were there.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
What are we gonna yell?
Hold on. So anyway, yeah. Who's here? Hello? Woo! Do I need to get a blowy thing?
Yeah, we're still
live.
You're still live.
Nan
Yes.
spilled the beans on the show.
Yes.
He was so proud.
You want to come tell everybody?
Well, it's not like official.
Oh.
I'm waiting for my drug test and background check to come back.
Well, you better pass your drug test. Come over here so everybody can see you. They were asking how you were. Now look, Edney looking all handsome guy. That's my baby boy. He's so
Aw.
handsome.
For those of you who've seen the
So-
baby pictures, it's a...
So you have to take a drug test and a background test, and you've got it. If you pass those, which you better.
Well, it sounds like I've got it if I pass them. That's how I made it sound. He said he'd let me know by Friday afternoon.
Yay! Well, see, we made you a chocolate cake for congratulations. Right, Dad?
Yes.
Haven't you
I'm
seen
sure
my
that's
YouTube
what we
channel?
did.
I'm trying to go
I know, you're
sugar-free.
trying to go sugar-free. Yay! Well, good.
Congratulations.
It was the place you wanted too, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yay.
Good. All right, guys. We will see you guys on Tuesday. Mike will see you on Tuesday.
I should
And
figure out how to promote that. If
yeah,
it's on a
I
different
told him
channel.
the newsletter, and we'll put an ad on here.
I see.
And okay, so a couple of things. Somebody asked about our debt
Ooh.
series. We
People
started.
are saying you're handsome and you're handsomely dressed.
Thanks.
I told him you better not go to a job interview in your pajamas. He was a manager at a place, and people would come in their pajamas for a job interview.
Yep.
And then they wonder why they can't find a job.
Well-
Seriously?
It's funny because we've both had the experience in hiring now. When I was hiring people, sometimes they would send in resumes that had been scratched out with a pen and they had written up the corrections.
I've seen that so many times.
And I was thinking, this isn't very impressive.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, all right. So we will put a notice on Living on a Dime on YouTube and our newsletter on Mike's Bible Study for Tuesday, what he's going to do. Our debt series started on yesterday's video on Mike and I, how we paid off $20,000 of debt on $22,000 a year income. That video is the start, okay? Tomorrow, Mike doesn't know this yet, but tomorrow is going to be the next video that we have to shoot in the morning. And
We need to figure out
so
what it's going to
we
be.
need to figure out what it's going to be.
This is how Tara and I are different. I was thinking, I think we should plan this out so when we get to step by step, we get step 2 in between step 1 and step 3. And Tara's like, let's just shoot something.
I said, oh, we can just shoot it all and put them in between if we need to.
So I'm the let's figure out the steps, but we maybe have a hard time starting on the trail. And Tara's the let's take 3 steps forward and 2
Yes.
steps back.
So, goatmilkgifts.com for Ellie's goat milk cream and her goat milk soaps, guys, 25% off. Open 25 is the coupon code. Goatmilkgifts.com, livingonadime.com. All of our cookbooks, 25% off. You don't need a coupon. We will see you guys later. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thanks a lot. It was great having you
gotta
here.
turn us off because Dave went to work out with Ellie.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's
Uh,
Bye.
see. Bye.
tell Nan bye. She was waving at you.
Bye.
And we promoted